Well, you knew that this video was inevitable because if you remember a few months back, there was this little thing called the NAR Settlement that came out in the media. NAR is the National Association of Realtors, and this video today is for the buyers out there. Buyers, this is really going to affect you August 1st. When you hit the ground running trying to look for a house, you need to really make sure that you've got a realtor that's very well versed in the new litigation, that they're ready to negotiate even harder on your behalf, because the days of it just being the assumption that the seller is paying your buyer's agent's commission are gone. Now that sounds drastic, and it could be, but if you've got a realtor that knows what they're doing, knows how to communicate, and knows how to negotiate on your behalf, it shouldn't affect you so much, but it could. So you really have to pay attention. Starting August 1st, if you as a buyer want to go look at a house, any house listed in the MLS, and you are utilizing a realtor to go look at said house, you will have to have a buyer's agreement signed with that realtor. Now I know I've had conversations with people and they're like, oh, you're being over dramatic. Oh, that's not really gonna happen. Guess what? Yes, it's going to happen. It's really happening. So as of August 1st, when that realtor, even if you call Zillow and that Zillow agent, which I'm a Zillow agent, so I know, when that Zillow agent picks up the phone, yeah, sure, you wanna go see 123 Elm Street? Great. You wanna go Saturday at 4? Great. I'll be sending you the paperwork for electronic signature to get that buyer's agency agreement signed. And guess what? 99.9% of buyers who haven't watched this video or aren't paying attention, they're going to poop in their pants. They're going to be like, wait, what? Because we used to just go look at houses for fun. We never had to make a commitment. We never had to pay an agent before. What's going on? But yeah, you guys, it's true. So in the lawsuit, I think that sellers came together, or the lawyers came together and convinced the sellers that they were like being tricked into paying a 6% commission or a 5%. Commissions have always been negotiable. Maybe some agents out there weren't portraying that negotiability of the commissions. It wasn't being advertised per se, but 5-6% was a pretty common number. And the sellers are kind of under the, pretext that, hey, we were tricked into paying both sides of commission. We don't want to do that anymore. Guess what, sellers? A lot of buyers can't afford commission for their agent on top of down payment and closing costs. So I hate to say it, but you're still probably going to have to pay that commission for the buyers. So you're going to have to give some concessions there. But again, that's a different video. But buyers, so when that realtor on the other end of the line, that maybe, most likely, you've never met before because you're just calling them through Realtor.com or Zillow or whatever, and they tell you, yeah, I'm going to have to send you something, or maybe they won't say it on the phone, but when they show up in the driveway with their little clipboard and they're like, here, sign here before we enter the house. Like, that's the new rule. You cannot see a house without a buyer's agreement. Now, what the buyer's agency agreement does is it connects you with that agent. For one, you've got representation. They have the fiduciary responsibility to you. So anything you tell them is held in confidentiality. That is between you. It's like you and your lawyer. They represent you. They hold your best interest at heart. So don't be afraid to sign it. Now here's where it'll get scary. On that buyer's agency agreement, like in paragraph 2 or 3, it outlines that, guess what? We get paid a commission. Now that is a negotiable number. Now I will tell you, my number is going to be on the higher side because, and I'm not necessarily going to collect that higher number, but let me tell you my thinking. So if I have a buyer's agency agreement and I put in there that, hey, my buyer is going to pay me 2% of the sales price of the home to represent them in their purchase of a house and their pursuit of happiness. If we find a seller's agent that's paying 2.5% or 3%, then I'm stuck at the 2%. We are no longer allowed to negotiate upward. We're only allowed to negotiate down. So if we've got 2% written in, that's the maximum amount we can collect at the closing table. So if in my buyer's agency agreement, I put 3 or 3.5%, yes, I'm shooting for the mountains, I'm reaching for the stars, but we will have an agreement between ourselves that, hey, if they're only, like, say, for instance, in new construction, some new construction only pays out 2%. Say you go the route of new construction and I'm getting paid 2%. I'm fine with that. I can adjust, I can amend that buyer's agency agreement that we've got to come down to the 2%. Now, there's going to have to be some trust between us. And if you don't trust me as your agent, then I'm probably not your girl anyway. So we're going to have to make sure that we trust one another, because I'm working hard for you. On the other end, I'm also trusting that you're not out running around cheating on me with other realtors. Because if I'm working to send you those houses and show you comps and send you disclosures, then I don't get paid until we buy a house together. So I'm under the assumption that I can trust you to utilize my services all the way through to the end, just like you're trusting me that I've got your best interest at heart, and I'm not going to try to cheat you out of the extra 0.5% or 1.5% when it comes to the time to close. So I can always amend that buyer's agency agreement down. We cannot amend up. So don't be afraid when you see a higher number. I can't speak for all realtors, but I would assume that the majority of realtors are going to negotiate their tails off with the sellers to get their commission covered. And if they can't, then you guys are going to negotiate that number. At least I know that's how I'm going to do business. That is so much different than what you guys are used to. So I'm trying to get the word out, because it's a big word. It's a big change, and it's coming August 1st. So don't be afraid of the change that's coming. I'm going to do my best to make sure that it's still the seller that is going to pay those concessions on your behalf to cover as much, hopefully 100% of my commission. Make sure that you are working with a buyer's agent that's very experienced, a great negotiator, someone you can trust, someone well-versed in all these new rules. I negotiate extremely hard for both my sellers and my buyers. And, you're just going to have to fight over me for which side you want me on. Talk to you later. Good luck.